Welcome to the Tom's River Show. Pat O'Melia here. You a Tom River resident there. That's why I do the show, to inform you, to educate you, and to entertain you. Daylight saving time just passed by. It's a whole lot easier than it used to be. Now, if you're of a certain age, you remember when that was a regular job, moving the clocks, whether it was back or forth. Yeah, there were clocks everywhere, and nothing was electronic. There, like now, your phones change, your watch changes on its own. Back in the old days, you had to set the your watch. And remember, we had the electric watches. You have to get like a pin, a paper clip to reset it. You had to set the time in the VCR. Many of you just left that flashing 12 back then. You had to set the time on the microwave. You had to set the time on the stove. You had the clocks on the wall with the cats, the eyes moved, the cat with the eyes moving and the tail wagging. You had to figure out twice a year how to set the clock on the car radio. All that was the job. You had to be like a Russian spy to coordinate all that time in your house. It wasn't like now where you can run around with a cell phone and it had as accurate time. You know, by the time you got from the kitchen to the bedroom, you lost a minute or two. I remember trying just to get the time between the stove and the microwave the same. It would be like, 2:02, the stove would be like 2:03. It was a major job. Now, it's done. Your cable or your DirecTV does it. So much simpler now. It's not a massive job as it used to be. Today, our topics. I'm going to open with Optimum. It's a big deal in Seaside Heights and Tom's River. We're going to open that. We're going to talk about George Gilmore and the Tom's River Regular Republican Club. Tom Kelleher's last interview with the Shore Network News. I'm going to talk about that. And COVID-19 relief money for Tom's River and Seaside Heights. We'll be right back. Ferns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Ferns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Ferns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Cutting-edge surgical care is right here in Secaucus.
Robotic surgery is safer.
Shorter hospital stays.
Smaller abdominal incisions, the size of an M&M. Here at Hudson Regional, we provide world-class robotic surgical care.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712. We're back, Tom's River Show. Don't forget everything on the bottom of the line there. You can get in touch with us, love us on Facebook, like us on YouTube and all that. Altice, parent company of Optimum. On the island of Seaside Heights, where we have our studio, it is Optimum here. There's nothing else. There's no other game. Just Optimum. Optimum broadband is awful. It is by far the worst service I have ever experienced in my life, and going back from the days of dial-up broadband. Now they're facing the heat from the state. Many municipalities in the state of New Jersey have filed complaints with the BPU here in New Jersey. I've been involved with the Island group here with Seaside Heights through Mayor Boz and Seaside Park and Lavalette. I got Mo Hill and Tom's River involved with it. And yesterday, it finally had a hearing, a Zoom one, where everybody was on the calls, as they call it. All the mayors, Assemblyman McGuckin here, who's also the Corp Counsel for Tom's River, was one of the speakers. Tony Vaz, mayors from Dunellen to Hamilton to Jackson, mayors from all over were on this. And they put the Optimum's feet to the fire, well deserving. The main complaint was broadband service. We cannot exist without broadband service and Wi-Fi. There you go, cable goes down, you can go to regular antenna. Broadband service, you are cut off from the world. It is part of life now. We need that. The problem with Optimum broadband, it's awful. Awful doesn't do it justice. It is terrible. The service, actually, it's a lack thereof. Sometimes the service doesn't even exist. And we've covered this on this show. I've showed you graphs. I showed you the meters that we use, that test it. There are times when it's non-existent with Optimum broadband. They're the only game in town on the Barrier Islands. Only a few locations have Verizon Fios. On Seaside Heights, there's some live on Grant Avenue. They have it. The DPW garage in Seaside Park, very selective. Verizon has to build out their service. They're the solution to all this. Optimum service doesn't exist. We have broadcast here, and we depend on upload speeds for our broadcasting where we're televising live. There are times when it's basically non-existent. I'm paying $216 a month just for awful broadband service here in this studio in Seaside Heights. If the planets are aligned and there's a good tailwind, I might, no, I don't need that. Well, you can look at my Verizon phone bill. Yeah, leave it up there. I might get 30 megabytes per second upload speed. Now, I pay $216 a month for 300 download and possibly 500 megabytes per second upload. Never happened. I have a studio in North Bergen, New Jersey. There is my Verizon bill for this month. I pay $162 a month for my broadband service, and if you see it, there, 400 up, 400 down. There are times in North Bergen, our upload speed, we actually clocked it at 568 megabytes per second. $162 a month, plus I got 3 phone lines. Now, I've had issues with Verizon personnel, but their technology is far superior. Optimum is Dixie cup with string compared to Verizon. Verizon is reasonably priced. If you get to the right person, you can get your problem solved. Look at that bill. Again, I'm paying $216 a month here in Seaside Heights for awful, non-existent at most times service. There in North Bergen, in New Jersey, mind you, 162, 400 up, 400 down. I don't really care about downloads for the studio. It's the upload speed to me. My kid has a house here in Seaside Heights. She spends, actually better service than me, $125 a month, and she's got 400 down and 50 upload. And when I'm over at that house, I can tell when it's not working because the security cameras go offline. And Optimum in the hearing, the Zoom hearing, they're saying the problem for these complaints is because of all the increased activity because of COVID-19. So many people are home. Bull BS. And as some of the mayors pointed out, these complaints go before COVID-19. I've been involved in this since before COVID-19. Optimum is horrible broadband service. I'm not bringing in the cable into this. I'm bringing in the broadband service. They're talking about spending $84 million within the last year and then going forward one more year to improve their service. Well, who the hell do you think is going to pay for that $84 million? We're going to pay even more. They shouldn't be in the broadband service. They are incapable. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the personnel. They are probably the worst customer service of any place I've dealt with. And I've dealt with a lot of bad customer services from being in the world of advocacy for consumers. All right, I'm out of time here. We got to break the commercial. You're watching the Tom River Show. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, Retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport. Live like you want.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Welcome back. Tom River Show. Pat O'Melia here, you concerned resident there. I hope you got your stimulus money today. A lot of people got their stimulus money today. I hope you're one of them. Check your account. Politics. We love politics in Tom's River, as is in Hudson County, the homeland. Is where I'm from, Jersey City. George Gilmore, a political mastermind. As we reported last week, George Gilmore lost round one of a battle with the Tom's River regular Republican Club, having their credentials rescinded. Before that meeting took place, George Gilmore, if you put all the Ocean County politicians in a room, all the Republican ones, probably even the Democratic ones, put them in a room, George Gilmore is the smartest guy politically in the room. So you're not going to outfox this guy. He knows what you're going to do before you do. He had hired a private investigator and a well-known attorney to do investigations into the Republicans for Tom's River Club. And the false accusations and all that was being spreaded. They actually put together about a 50-page report that was sent to the Ocean County Republican Council and whoever the hell I had to send it to. George Gilmore is really 1 to 2 to 3 steps ahead of everybody. Now, what the report covered, I'm not that close to it. Probably at least half of it is true. So Gilmore's got a leg to stand on if he decides to pursue this in a court of law. See, the problem with pursuing this in a court of law, it could take a long time to happen. What they are basically charging in this report is they rescinded the credentials for the Tom's River regular Republican Club that was in operations for 35 years to get to George Gilmore, to mute his influence in that club. That was the sole reason for decertifying it or removing it or decertifying its credentials. In the process, they disenfranchised many loyal Republican voters who were members of that club. Disenfranchised all of them just to get at Gilmore. And you won round one, I would say. I don't know if he's going to see if he can adjudicate this in the courts. He's an attorney by trade, and he probably has one of the smartest attorneys working on this case for him. It would be interesting to watch, but it would be tied up for many years, I would believe. I don't know if he can get a quick injunction on it. If it's doable, Gilmore will get it done. So what is George's next test? As I said last week, his next test will be the elections coming up. You have the ward council elections here in Tom's River. You have an open commissioner seat on the commissioner board, formerly the freeholder board, and you got some assembly seats. What election fronts does George Gilmore and the Tom's River regular Republican Club want to do battle on? You're not going to do battle on all three. I predict he's going to do battle on 2. I figure he is going to be involved in the club in the Tom's River ward elections and that one open commissioner seats. The assembly seats, he'll let that go for now. If he's successful, he can revisit that in 2 years. The question is, Does George Gilmore and the Toms River Regular Republican Club run a ticket opposing Republicans for Toms River? See, I don't think he does that. I think he runs an independent ticket. Independent Republicans, independent of Mo Hill and the Toms River for Republicans, whatever the name of that club is right now. I think he runs an independent ticket. And I think he runs that ticket going into the general election. I don't think he bypasses the primary. He would force a three-way dance in November with the new club, the one backed by Mo Hill, the mayor of Toms River, the Toms River Dems, Wyatt Earp and his gang from the Ocean County Democratic Party, and his ticket. It would be a three-way dance. He would probably come out successful in that. Remember, the Dems, with the exception of Maria Maruca's seat, took all the seats last time. This is something the Toms River Republicans would probably want to avoid. But if you push Gilmore into a corner, he's going to do that. And I believe he'll be successful. Now, I didn't talk to George. I don't know what his plans are. He is certainly more politically savvy and smarter than I am. But I don't think he's going to run an opposing ticket in the primary. I could be wrong, but I know he wants to be involved in that November election. The remains of the former Toms River Regular Republican Club and George Gilmore, they got a axe to grind come November with the Toms River Ward Council and that open Ocean County Commissioner seat. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You're watching the Toms River Show. I'll be right back.
Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to be prepared for your emergency.
We promise to provide world-class robotic surgical care.
We promise to treat you like family.
To provide accurate diagnostic care.
To provide the most innovative orthopedic care at your doorsteps.
We promise to treat your baby like our own.
To never stop investing in the best of spinal care.
To be with you every step of the way.
Here at Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to take care of our community.
Pan & Pinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panandpintoproperties.com. Pan & Pinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Toms River Show here, Pat O'Melia. A little bit of black there. We're back. Don't forget all the stuff on the bottom of the screen, how to love us and how to like us and all that stuff. Tom Kelleher, the former mayor of Toms River, he recently passed on. Jersey City guy like I, educated in Jersey City like I, then came down to Toms River. I'll eventually get down to Seaside Heights, but my kids are investing down here, and I was here before the kids had started investing. I had the studio here, I guess about 5 years now, I suppose. We've been filming on the boardwalk, which we hope to do. I'm going to see if I can meet with Tony Vaz next week about rebooting the Shore Show and doing more things to promote Seaside Heights coming into this year. Hopefully we're out of the COVID. We can get back into tourism. How Seaside does, Toms River will do. If we get more people coming down 37, business does well, jobs are created, Seaside Heights does well. It's very important we have a successful season. There's a lot of factors in it, especially when it comes to the weather. But Tom Kelleher, one of his last interviews he did with the Shore News Network. I always read their websites, take a couple shots at me occasionally, but that's cool. It's a good site. If you have an opportunity, there's the Addy. For that matter, I'm going to see if I can get their editor on an interview for next week. Well, in Tom Kelleher's last interview with the Shore News Network, it wasn't very flattering for Mayor Mo Hill. And, I knew in the general election last year for Mo when he was running for mayor, they weren't exactly arm in arm, those two. He didn't come out against Mo Hill, as I recall, but he wasn't exactly endorsing him. Tom Kelleher that he was quite disappointed in Mayor Mo Hill. Mo's making big mistakes that are going to cause big problems in Toms River. He doesn't know what he's doing in there, and I hope he does before it's too late. I've questioned Mo Hill's political circle of influence. I think Tom Kelleher is right. And one of the things you look for when there's a new administration comes in, after the 1 year, they normally start, you got your feet on the ground, you got an idea, lay of the ground, you open the drawers on the mayor's desk, you've seen all the demons, and you had a year to see how the people you danced with during the campaign do when they're in positions. And that's when you start making decisions. Almost every administration, they start spinning off some people from the group they came in with. And you start building it. Again, I always refer to Mayor Stephen Fulop in Jersey City. Pretty much a completely different group with Mayor Fulop now than when he first became mayor. He learned. Some people weren't the best for that position. He made moves, moved on. The county exec for Hudson County, Tom DeGee, said, you take care of your soldiers, but in important positions, you need people with brains. And DeGee has had a very successful administration in Hudson County. Kelleher, what was surprising to me was Tom Kelleher wanted to run again for mayor, but the Toms River regular Republican club said he was too old, which is probably illegal to do that, and they went with Joe Coronado, who was a good candidate. And Mo Hill got perturbed about that. He quit the regular Republican group and said he would start a new organization, which he has. Would have been better if immediately when he became mayor, he started working on that organization instead of being reactionary to the return of George Gilmore. And the group basically forced Tom Kelleher out. And he went with Joe Coronado, and there was, Mo Hill won. Oh, those debates did so well for Mo Hill. If you're not aware, I've televised those debates live. That's the GOP primary with Roderick Coronado and Mo Hill. And then we did the general election, where it was head-to-head. Mo Hill went against his Democratic opponent. It surprised me that Kelleher wanted to run again at his age. Kelleher took some shots as a Marine against a Navy guy about Mo being an admiral, a dentist. The only bridge he was ever on was involvement with a bridge in a mouth. Also, Kelleher touched on Dan Guardian as the former BA of the Toms River. He's a financial wizard, Dan Guardian, and he did a good job for Tom Kelleher. And he also threw some shade in his last interview with the Shore News Network at the present BA, Lou Amorosa, who in this story, Tom Kelleher had demoted from the position of BA. And he basically said, it was for good cause. And he told the editor for the Jersey Shore News Network that, you look around, you'll find out why. So Tom got that little, like an exit interview per se. Rest in peace, Tom Kelleher. We're going to break for commercial. You're watching the Toms River Show. I'll be right back. Am I back?
Cutting edge surgical care is right here in Secaucus.
Robotic surgery is safer.
Shorter hospital stays.
Smaller abdominal incisions, the size of an M&M. Here at Hudson Regional, we provide world-class robotic surgical care.
At Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to be prepared for your emergency.
We promise to provide world-class robotic surgical care.
We promise to treat you like family.
To provide accurate diagnostic care.
To provide the most innovative orthopedic care at your doorsteps.
We promise to treat your baby like our own.
To never stop investing in the best of spinal care.
To be with you every step of the way.
Here at Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to take care of our community.
We're back. I was back a little earlier. We're back. You're watching the Toms River Show. Pat O'Melia here. you concerned Toms River resident there, hey, Toms River is getting some money. Toms River and Seaside Heights. Toms River is about to get $10 million, a little more than $10 million, like $10,090,000. Not bad. It's like hitting the lottery, right? They hit the Mega Millions, $10 million. And Seaside Heights is getting a whopping $285,000. And it's based on poverty levels. In Jersey City is getting $145 million. Our sister city, Newark, is getting $182 million. So we were shorted by about $37 million. Populations are almost even in Jersey City and Newark. After the census is done, we're probably more population than Newark. We'll see how that goes. But we're very similar, Jersey City and Newark. We got shorted $37 million. And the formula, whenever there's a formula mentioned, I know if I'm involved, we're getting the bad end of it. If Jersey City's involved, we're getting the bad end of it. The formula that the feds use has to do with poverty levels. And I guess there's more poverty in Newark than Jersey City. So they got $37 million more. And, Mayor Fulop was a little bummed out about that. It's just some crazy formula they use. Who would want an extra $37 million? The Toms River, again, population, different size. But, there's about 80,000, 85,000 in Toms River, isn't it? Jersey City is probably about 300,000, maybe a little bit more. Probably could have got a little more money. The formula, again, like I said, is based on poverty levels. So what is Toms River going to do with $10 million? That's a good question. Well, first off, you got to reimburse the town for all its COVID-19 expenses. For all the testing that Mo Hill and the town was doing, all the PPE, all the vaccination sites, whatever the town is laying out over the last year or so that we've been in this pandemic, you got to pay the town back. Hopefully, there's still money left over that you can, have a splurge, maybe get pizza, What would be nice if you have a good chunk of change if you help the Toms River property owners and renters. Because there's property owners that are behind on their mortgage. There's renters that are behind on their rent. If we can get the renters up to date and help with the mortgage payments, because there's no evictions going on if you're behind on your rent. But there are foreclosures if you're behind on your mortgage. And when there's no rents being paid, everybody thinks that major developers. A lot of these foreclosures are mom and pop. People who, they got a 2-family home, a 3-family home or something, and they need those rents to make the mortgage payment. I've read stories where there are property owners living in their car right now because they're using every dime they have to maintain their home, and the tenants aren't paying any rent. So it is a tough thing. It would not hurt to use some of that money after you reimburse the town for its COVID expenses, maybe late taxes on the property owners. I'm sure there's quite a few in Toms River. There's quite a few in Jersey City. It's quite a few everywhere. If we can help those property owners, it doesn't hurt to help. Never hurts to help seniors and the kids. If you got money left over, senior housing, ball fields, that sort of thing for kids. But, if I would like to see, if it's COVID related, like back property taxes, let's help those people. Let's everybody get back on their feet. That's what this huge bailout of $1.9 trillion, who you and I of a certain age aren't going to be the ones to pay that back. My kids will, your kids will, and your grandkids will probably be paying back this $1.9 trillion on top of all the other debt we got. Wouldn't hurt to save some for a rainy day. You probably should always have a pandemic slush fund somewhere. And in Seaside Heights, tourism. A whole $280,000, tourism. All right, we're out of show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next.